Another season, and once again, Garnacho is on a new team.
I was saying that I wanted to make Villa the winner of the transfer window so far, and then they suddenly turn up with Garnacho. I mean, is it a joke?
He just gets passed around like an STD at this point.
I can't see any reason why Aston Villa, a well-functioning team, Mansambi coming in, can play in different position. Why on earth would you like Garnacho?
Now Aston Villa fans get to enjoy the Subject 49 experience.
I'm not calling him Garnacho anymore, I'm calling him Subject 49.
Some Villa fans might be excited, but that's always the first stage. They see some clips of him and his best moments and go, oh, actually, he's not that bad.
And we are very happy with him in this moment.
I think I can bring something, I can help the team, so that's why I'm here and I will try to do.
With the tutelage of Unai Emery, he can do some good stuff.
Maybe, Unai Emery looks at him and sees something we're not seeing and thinks he can bring something out of him, but it's quite a difficult one to understand.
But don't be fooled. That's the first step of the cycle.
No way! He wasn't. He wasn't. Go on, tell me who it was. Garnacho.
Chelsea fans fell for it too, because Garnacho is a strange player. Yes, he is capable of moments like this.
Cross Garnacho! That is outstanding!
But he can also do this.
Too many times, he picks the wrong pass or makes the wrong decision. And again, I don't like the way he plays.
He is a player who often comes across as if he thinks he is better than he is.
To me, he's the type of player that comes on 75, 80 minutes when everybody's knackered. I don't...
But for a starter?
At Chelsea anyway, as a starter, no.
He carries himself like he's a superstar. He thinks he's the regen of CR7, but he's actually closer to Ronaldo's son than the actual Ronaldo. To some extent though, I get Garnacho's confidence. As much as people clown him, you have to remember that at one point, he was a very highly rated youngster. Garnacho is still really young, but it feels like he's been around forever because he made the jump to senior football so quickly. His journey started in Madrid, where he played in Atletico's youth system. He had quick feet, good dribbling, and played with a lot of confidence. Coaches and scouts could see he had something special. Then came the big leap. In October of 2020, at just 16 years old, Garnacho left home and crossed over to England. Manchester United spotted his potential and paid Atletico around £420,000, bringing him into their academy. It was a bold move for a teenager, leaving Spain for one of the biggest clubs in the world. But Garnacho had a dream, and that was to follow in the footsteps of his idol, Cristiano Ronaldo, and make it at United. He was going to a bigger stage where the pressure was higher, and all eyes were on him to see if he could turn that raw talent into something real. In the under-18 team of Manchester United, Garnacho was one of the standout players. He was incredible during their FA Youth Cup run in 2022. He scored a brilliant solo goal that was even nominated for United's Goal of the Month. That youth campaign was his breakout. Garnacho scored 5 goals in the tournament, including 2 in the final, that helped United win the trophy for the first time since 2011. He was only 17, but already proving he can handle the pressure. At the end of the season, he was named the Jimmy Murphy Young Player of the Year, which is basically United's top youth pride. With all of this hype, fans wanted to see him in the first team. Their wish came true in April of 2022 when Garnacho made his senior debut against Chelsea at Old Trafford. It was only a couple of minutes at the end of the game, but it was special. His first step into senior football. At first, Erik ten Hag was very careful with him, but by October, the youngster had improved so much that the Dutch Heisenberg had to play him. He got his first start in a Europa League game against Sheriff Tiraspol, and ten Hag praised him for his improvement, saying he was happy with the progress and the maturity Garnacho was starting to show. Once he got his foot in the door, he started to get better and better. In November of 2022, he scored his first senior goal in the Europa League against Real Sociedad, and the assist came from his idol, CR7. For a kid who grew up copying Ronaldo's celebrations, it was a dream come true. The fans loved it, and it showed that Garnacho wasn't scared of the spotlight at all. Just days later, he made his mark in the Premier League. Against Fulham, he came off the bench and scored a 93rd minute winner. United had been up and down that season, but here was an 18-year-old dragging them over the line. In January of 2023, in the Manchester Derby, he came on as a sub and set up Marcus Rashford's winner to beat City 2-1. It was another big moment, and it proved he can make the right play in the biggest games. Of course, his first season had bumps too. In March, he injured his ankle against Southampton and was out for weeks. But Garnacho worked hard to recover, and by May he was back, even scoring in a 2-0 win over Wolves to end the season on a high. All in all, Garnacho's debut season was a success. He chipped in with goals and assists, and more importantly showed he had the confidence and quality to play at the top level. United rewarded him with a new contract until 2028, a clear sign they believed he could be one of their key players for the future. The 2023-2024 season was when Garnacho went from an exciting youngster to a real first-team player. In November, he scored one of the goals of the season, that insane bicycle kick against Everton.
Wow, that is a magical goal.
It instantly went viral and later won both Premier League Goal of the Month and Goal of the Season. I mean, think about it, at just 19 years old, Garnacho had already produced a strike that people will remember for decades. A few years later, he added his first Champions League goal in a 3-3 draw at Galatasaray. On Boxing Day, he scored twice in a comeback win against Aston Villa. Then in February, he bagged another brace in a 3-0 win over West Ham. He became the first teenager since Michael Owen in 1999 to score multiple braces in 3 different Premier League matches. Like I'm telling you, he used to be good at football. Then in the FA Cup final against Manchester City at Wembley, Garnacho scored the opener. United went on to win 2-1, and Garnacho became the first teenager since CR7 to score in an FA Cup final. He was also only the second Argentine ever to do it. The summer got even better for him. Because of how well he had played for United, he got called up to the Argentina squad for the Copa America. He had already made a senior debut in 2023, but now he was sharing a dressing room with legends like Lionel Messi. Argentina went all the way and won the tournament. Yes, Garnacho did not do much in the tournament, but just the fact that he was selected shows you just how well he was doing at that stage of his career. He came home with a winner's medal, and by just 20 years old, he had an FA Cup and a Copa America to his name. On the club side, his numbers look good. Even though United's league campaign was disappointing, Garnacho was one of the few bright spots. He was involved in 21 goals across all competitions, making him the team's most productive attacker that season. He played in 54 matches, more than any other player in the squad, and only 3 outfield players racked up more minutes than him. Across the whole Premier League, he was the only under 21 player logging in that much time. Showed you how much the club trusted him. By that point, United fans really felt like he was one of their own, an academy kid who has stepped up on the biggest stage. His fearlessness, his pace, and his swagger made you think that you were looking at a star in the making. But as the next season showed, the ride wasn't always smooth. The 2024-2025 season was where things got messy. He actually started the year on a high, scoring in the Community Shield against City and again in the league against Southampton. It looked like another step forward, but United's season quickly turned chaotic. Results dipped, and by late October, Erik ten Hag was sacked. His replacement, Ruben Amorim, came in with new ideas and a stricter style. For Garnacho, that change didn't work out well. Amorim brought a very strict system and didn't compromise on discipline. He wanted to play a 3-4-2-1, which wasn't easy for wingers like Garnacho. In that setup, wide players either have to play more centrally as attacking midfielders or drop deeper as wingbacks. Both of those roles need a lot of defensive work and quick, smart passing. That's just not Garnacho's game. He's the type of winger who wants to stay wide, take players on, and go straight at goal. So from the beginning, it just didn't look like a good fit. But the real problem wasn't just the tactics, it was his attitude. And there were a few moments that really broke the relationship. One of them came in a Europa League game against Victoria Pilsen. Amorim tried to give him instructions before sending him on, and Garnacho basically ignored him and walked away. That didn't go down well at all, and he ended up being dropped for the Manchester derby right after. Then there was the Ipswich game. Garnacho got subbed off at halftime because of a tactical change, and instead of sitting on the bench, he walked straight down the tunnel. He later apologized and even paid for a team dinner, but by then, the damage was already done. The final breaking point came in the Europa League final against Tottenham. Garnacho only came on late in the game, and after the match, he went to the media and complained about his role. On top of that, his brother publicly criticized Amorim, saying the manager had thrown him under the bus. There were also reports that Garnacho was leaking the lineups throughout the season. So at that point, the relationship was finished. From Amorim's perspective, Garnacho was someone who didn't want to adapt.
But for me, it's important the performance in training, the performance in game, the way you dress, the way you eat, the way you engage with the teammates, the way you push your teammates. Everything is important in our context in the beginning of something when we want to change a lot of things, when people in our club are losing their jobs. We have to put the standards really high.
And once a manager sees you like that, it's almost impossible to come back from it. Ever wonder how we upload just 1 or 2 hours after a match? We built PetTalkSports.com to be even faster with 60-second football for quick news. And if you become a premium member of this YouTube channel, you unlock our controversial dark web football articles and access to our premium Discord. Pet Talk Sports is built to keep you ahead. At the same time, the fans started to turn on him too.
Garnacho, you gotta pass better today, yeah, please. Pass better today, score a goal, and work on your first touch as well, yeah?
In November, a video showed a supporter shouting abuse at him while he was signing autographs. A few days later, Garnacho scored but didn't celebrate, with Bruno Fernandes later saying it was because he felt some fans had lost faith in him. It was a huge change from just months earlier when he was being hailed as a hero. Add in moments like storming down the tunnel after being subbed, and the attitude talk started growing louder. It's why United fans don't even call him by his name anymore. They call him Subject 49. By spring of 2025, it was clear something had to give. Rumors of a transfer started to heat up, with Chelsea and even Napoli linked. Garnacho said publicly he was happy at United, but behind the scenes, things were breaking down. Reports even claimed that he was training away from the first team because of a rift with Amorim. That's how he ended up in the bomb squad, which was basically a group of players the club wanted gone. So in late August of 2025, United sold Garnacho to Chelsea for around £40 million. That fee made him one of United's most expensive academy sales ever. For some fans, it was shocking to see such a talented young player leave, especially to a rival. Others, though, felt the club had cashed in at the right time given the drama. From academy darling to FA Cup hero to a player booed by some of his own fans, in just a few years, Garnacho experienced a full roller coaster at Old Trafford. When he arrived at Chelsea, it was supposed to be a reset for him, a fresh start, yet his form continued to be up and down. Initially, he actually looked good. He got multiple goals, assists. Maresca really trusted him on the left wing. The fact that he started in big games against Benfica and Liverpool when Maresca was under pressure showed just how much the Italian believed in Blondie.
He's doing very well on the ball, but he's doing very, very well off the ball, and he knows that to play with us, he has to be good on the ball and off the ball, otherwise he's not going to play. And we are very happy with him in this moment.
But that spark did not last very long because there were many times where he simply looked like a blonde Michael Jackson. His performance versus Karabakh feels like ages ago now. Under Rossinier, he had some nice moments too, like the assist against Villa and the brace against Arsenal, but the output was not there consistently. For every good performance, he had 5 to 6 mediocre ones. He was very focused on scoring goals, and after spending 4 seasons in the Premier League with United, he had the confidence to cut inside, run at defenders, and take shots. The problem was that this wasn't always the best decision. A lot of time he ended up losing the ball by taking low percentage shots or dribbling into crowded areas when a teammate was in a much better position. Let's just say Garnacho gets a lot of tunnel vision. Everyone can see the talent. It's why there's always a club willing to take him on despite how bad he's played for the club before. He's like that one friend who always seems to be employed at a different job every other week. You can see the speed, the confidence, the willingness to take on defenders, but at some point that potential has to turn into something more, and that's the question people keep asking about him. According to The Athletic, a couple of years ago, Ryan Giggs talked about Garnacho at an event in London. Giggs said that when you're a winger, you might try to beat your defender 10 times and lose the ball 9 times, but the one time it works, you can win the game. His point was to keep trying, don't be afraid to fail, and that fearless mentality is something Garnacho definitely has. He will run at defenders again and again, even if it doesn't work. The problem is that this approach only works if there's end product. With Garnacho though, he tries to beat a defender 10 times, he loses it 10 times. Sure, he got himself on the score sheet at Chelsea multiple times, but so many of those goals came against lower level competition, farming numbers against the worst teams in the Champions League and lower tier English clubs in the FA Cup and Carabao Cup. To be fair, you could argue that those teams are the only ones that are on Garnacho's level. His overall game has not improved at all in the past few years. In fact, it's been the opposite. He's regressed. His dribbling is less effective. He loses the ball a lot.
There is no danger from Garnacho. If you don't take on a defender on the outside, that means that you have fear. And a winger with fear will never beat his opponent.
Under Maresca and then later Liam Rossinier, Chelsea wingers were expected to track back, combine with teammates, and be part of a bigger shape. That's where Garnacho struggled. That's really sad when you think about it. I mean, the bar wasn't held. The standards could not have been lower, and yet Garnacho still couldn't match them. In games against organized teams like Brighton or West Ham, he often looked disconnected from the rest of the team. He stayed wide, but didn't link up with the play at all, and often tried to do everything on his own. So instead of passing or keeping the move going, he went for low percentage dribbles or shots. The moment that everything really fell apart for Garnacho came on April 18th, 2026, against Manchester United. This was supposed to be his big statement game, facing his old club at Stamford Bridge, with a chance to prove everyone wrong. Instead, he collapsed like a bed when Lukaku sits on it. Damn! He came on early in the 16th minute after Estevao got injured, so he had plenty of time to make an impact, but he didn't. In the entire first half, he didn't register a single shot, didn't create a chance, and didn't even complete one successful take-on. It got even worse defensively. On the goal, he barely tried to track back and Bruno Fernandes just went past him with ease before setting up Matheus Cunha for the winner. Very symbolic that the guy United replaced Garnacho with would score the goal. By the end of the game, Subject 49 had lost the ball 15 times in just over 70 minutes and was completely shut down.
Garnacho, I watched a lot of football over my 60 odd years of watching football, and even longer. That was one of the worst performances by a professional footballer I have ever seen in my life. He was indescribably terrible.
Garnacho seems to see himself as a star player, but the people around him don't see it that way. To them, he was someone who wasn't doing the hard work, wasn't helping the team, and hurting them more than helping.
Garnacho, you know, I mean, he really likes himself, rates himself as a player, but he's absolutely not putting in the performances.
A lot of Chelsea supporters saw him as the worst signing the club had made in the last few years, and that's saying something considering they've had some awful signings. But many of these Chelsea fans literally got depression from watching Garnacho play.
Garnacho, I'm giving you a 10 out of 100. You are a god-awful winger.
My mum be watching this. She go, Rory, don't say that. Don't say that. Don't say you hate anyone. You don't have time in your life to hate. And I'm like, no, Mum, I do. I do have time to hate. Do you know why I've got time to hate? I find the time. And do you know who I hate? Alejandro Garnacho.
They felt like he gave up too easily when things weren't going his way. When Chelsea were losing, he didn't look like someone who wanted to fight and turn the game around. Defensively, it was even worse. There were so many moments where he just didn't track his man and it directly led to goals. Then there was the attitude problem, carrying himself like a superstar without actually performing like one. On top of that, his game was so predictable. Defenders know what he's gonna do, when he's gonna do it, and it makes him that much easier to stop. His social media activity didn't help. After getting benched against Manchester City, he removed all Chelsea-related posts from his profile. Grown-ass man acting like a teenager. It's like those people that post saying, taking a break from social media. Don't hit me up. Buddy, nobody cares. A lot of United fans saw this coming. They warned Chelsea fans that Garnacho's big moments, like that overhead kick against Everton, were highlights, not the full picture. For every moment like that, there were games where he was inconsistent, selfish, or just not effective. They also pointed out a pattern. When things get tough, he doesn't step up. Instead, he fades out or reacts badly.
But he got superstar status so quickly, and obviously scored the bicycle kick, which was a phenomenal goal, and then it went like that. Someone within that football club, within that team, should have been swatting him down. They might have been, and he might have just ignored him. Forget his ability. I don't think he's that great anyway. However, his attitude for me was a disgrace when he was at Man United.
Chelsea fans didn't really listen at the time. The price looked good, the talent was obvious, and it felt like a fresh start could fix everything. Back then, it was United fans telling Chelsea fans, "We told you so." And now Chelsea fans are saying the same thing to Villa fans.
I can give you a good suggestion in how we can reduce crime rates. Get criminals watching Garnacho go one-on-one. I promise you, crime rates go down.
What's funny is that despite all of this, Garnacho has another opportunity to redeem his career. Despite everything I have told you in this video, this guy just has a habit of falling upwards. He has certain qualities that are fantastic. He's fearless, can score in different ways, but despite these qualities, Garnacho remains a puzzle. He shows flashes of brilliance, but too often follows them with frustrating performances. Sometimes he looks like a future star, other times he looks like he shouldn't even be in the Premier League. Football is an impatient business. At some point, potential stops being enough. Garnacho still has time to figure things out, but Aston Villa fans are gonna want to see something soon. If you enjoyed this video, I'm sure you will love this one too. Check it out right here.